Hey movers and shakers, how the heck are you? Today we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room. We're going to be talking about your employees and them smoking marijuana, pot, ganja, the local willy dilly willy weed, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking about that very controversial subject. Let's get into it. Hi guys, I'm Jay Burnham and this is the 7-Figure Moving Academy. I am so glad that you guys are here. If you're not yet a subscriber, please go to the link right down there, click it, hit the bell icon, and you'll be informed when I upload a new video. Now we're going to be talking about something that is very controversial, and that is your guys and the fact that they smoke marijuana. Now, there's a lot of talk about marijuana, whether it's right, it's wrong, if it's indifferent, whatever. You know, it's a very controversial subject. Some people are very for it. Some people are against it. It's a very controversial subject. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Marijuana with our industry is very prevalent. As a matter of fact, you would be more hard-pressed to find people that don't smoke marijuana than do. That's right. I think you're going to find the majority of the people in this industry, from the owners on down, will smoke marijuana. Now, I'm not here to advocate one way or the other to say it's right or it's wrong. That it's none of my business what you guys do. But there are things you guys got to take heed of. Just because you smoke marijuana doesn't mean everybody in the world does. And believe it or not, just because you might not smell it on your stuff, or on you, you stink of marijuana. And when you stink of marijuana, guess what? People smell that. And when people smell that stink of marijuana, the preconceived notions, the preconceived ideas of whether your company is professional, whether you're going to be doing a good job or not, comes into play. Now, I know you're going to come in, there's going to be people that say, well, man, I had a customer, man, and he sat down and he smoked a bowl with us. You know, great. I'm sure you have those stories. But seriously, if you're smoking a bowl with your customer, are you really that a professional of a company? I mean, how do you see Google bragging that they sat down and got drunk with Bill Gates? You know, come on. Let's be honest. It's not something you're going to want to talk about or even promote or brag about. Okay? Whether you do what you do in your own home is your own business. And there's also this idea, well, it's legal in my state. Guess what, folks? It's not legal in any United States state. Not one state is marijuana legal in. It's not legal in any of its territories. It's not legal. Oh, yes, it is, man. Yes, it is. It's legal here in Colorado. It's legal here in Maine. It's legal in Oregon. We're not. No, it's not legal. By federal law, marijuana is not legal. And federal law supersedes state law. So even though your state says it's legal, it isn't legal. Okay? Sure, maybe the local municipalities won't do anything about it. The state police aren't going to do anything about it. But you bring in the feds, and they're going to shut your ass down. You go into California today, and you still have the federal government going into Humboldt County, California, and shutting down the pot growing industry down. They are still scared that they're going to get shut down. Yes, the local county cops aren't raiding the Humboldt County marijuana growers anymore, but the fact is that the federal government is. As a matter of fact, here in my local state, here in the city that I'm in Lansing, Michigan, we just had a guy who ran Hydro World. That's a little bit on the nose, isn't it? He got everything shut down. And he was a legal medical marijuana distributor and dispenser. And he still got shut down by the federal government. Why? Because he was growing pot and he was growing a big business with all these dispensaries and so on and so forth. And the federal government said, hey, we don't like it and we're going to shut you down. Yet it's legal to do that here in Michigan if you're doing it for medical reasons. And he was legally licensed and can't be insured, but he was still legal. Now, here's another thing. maybe your state has a law where it says you cannot test for marijuana in your state. And that's becoming more and more in every single state. That is happening. But guess what? Your insurance company isn't going to insure your guys if they're high on pot. If they test positive for marijuana, they're not going to be insured. And technically speaking, you cannot make them a driver of one of your vehicles because the insurance isn't going to cover it. And, if one of your guys is driving one of your trucks and he gets in an accident, they're going to drug test him. And if marijuana is tested positive, you just lost all your claim with your insurance. Now you can say, well, they can't test. Guess what? They can and they will. And again, because marijuana is still illegal in every single state, there is no company that legally can take any money that's been associated with this illicit drug business. So that's why your dispensaries all operate in cash. They don't take credit cards because the banks can't take them. You can't go to your local dispensary and use your debit card to buy marijuana. At least not here in Michigan, and I don't know that it's true in any state. Maybe I'm wrong. There might be somebody out there go, well, here in Arizona we can do it. Well, okay. I stand corrected if that's the case. But I would suspect that it's illegal and you can't do it. And the reason why is because banks can't take money for this kind of activity through the bank system. And insurance companies aren't going to insure you. It's just something you have to deal with because let's face it, like I said earlier in the video, you'll find it harder to find people that don't smoke pot than do smoke pot in this industry. And that's going to be true in all your manual labor type positions and your lower income, lower skill level type jobs. You're going to find people that smoke pot. And now you're going to say, well, I know people who are lawyers that smoke pot. Well, that's true, and that's, great. But I guarantee, they're gonna crash and burn at some point. The point being, folks, is this is a very tricky subject to deal with. Let me tell you of a story that happened to me just yesterday. True story. So my car's in the shop, so I asked one of my guys to drive me down to do an estimate. And I already know that my guy smokes pot, and he's going to be driving me in his car. So we get in his car, and the first thing and I've driven his car before, and it's never smelled this bad. So I know that he had smoked pot when he was off work in his car. So the first thing I said, man, I hope we don't get pulled over because they're going to be looking for pot. He goes, oh, my car doesn't stink. You can't smell pot in my car. I'm like, dude, yes, you can. And then we'll talk about that subject here in a second. But so we're driving along, and I'm in it, and I get to the place, and I get out of the car, and I'm like, man, I hope I don't smell like marijuana. I hope I don't smell like weed. And I knew I should have done it. I knew I should have brought some cologne to spray on myself. I usually do that anyway because sometimes, it's a hot, muggy day. You don't want to be smelling like sweat when you're going in there. A couple sprays of cologne to mask any body odor that might be there. That you just want to cover your bases. I'm not saying that I'm filthy or dirty or something, and I don't shower or anything. But sometimes, if you've been working all day and you're going in to do an estimate, or if you're, and you haven't had a chance to shower before you do the estimate, a little spritz here to get that stench off his back isn't a horrible thing. And I was thinking, man, I should have, and I was going to ask my guy, does he have some cologne? And I should have, and I had it in my head, and I lost the thought, and we get out. And sure enough, we're going through, and we're doing this estimate. Beautiful house. We're talking $500,000 home. Lady's really nice. And then sure enough, we're walking through the home. She turns around at one point. She goes, I just want to let you know, I smell pot. And I know what pot smells like because I used to have roommates that were above me, and they smoke pot, and I know what it smells like. And to the credit of the guy I was with, he turned around and goes, yes, ma'am, that was me. I have a medical marijuana card. And he does. I had pot in my car, and he didn't lie about it. He didn't hide it. He didn't try to run away from it. He hit it flat out right. Yep. And admitted to it, which says a lot about the guy's character. He's a good guy, and he's worked for me a lot, and he's done great work. He isn't the best mover, but he's a good and loyal and dedicated mover, and I really, truly appreciate that. But he smelled like pot. And I think I smelled a little bit of pot just being in the car. Anyway, so we do the estimate. I sit down with the lady. I gave her my business card, and in the back of my mind, I know that this is going south. We leave. I go and do the estimate. This morning, I do the proposal, and I send her, give her a call. The first words out of my mouth after I've introduced, I said, "Hi, this is Jay Burnham with USA Moving and Furniture Storage." The first words out of her mouth was, I was really upset, and that was very unprofessional. I mean, not even hello, not even, it's just like, wow. So I spent the next half hour going blah, 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 saying, I apologize. You're right. I agree with you, blah, blah, blah. Get to the point of the story. We lost that sale. Now, it wasn't a big sale. It was only like about $3,900, an out-of-state job. Well, just, small pittance in the coffers. And it was a fairly significant sized job, $4,000 job, and we lost it. Why? Because I was in a car that my guy was smoked, and I probably had a little bit of that odor, and my guy definitely had that odor, and we smelled like pot. So the point is, just because you don't smell it, if you're a pot smoker and you don't smell it, guess what? You stink. You stink. And there are going to be people that are going to be offended by that odor. And that people are going to have those preconceived notions, like I said earlier. So the point being here is we got to walk a very tight rope. We got to walk a very tight line when we're doing this. If you got a guy that smokes pot, or you smoke pot yourself, you got to take the necessary precautions to make sure that, one, your guys aren't stoned and high while they're on the job, and two, they don't stink. Because believe it or not, they stink. And some guys, when they start sweating really profusely, guess what? That starts coming out in their sweat. And they stink of pot. Whether they smoked recently or not, they stink of pot. And their clothes will smell like it, everything. So if anybody comes, you got to just ixnay. Just send them home. Or have them work in the warehouse. Or do something. But this is an elephant in the room, because I know there's going to be guys out there, well, I smoke pot and it's okay and I can function okay. I function better when I smoke pot. Said every drunk driver ever. Every drunk driver said, I'm fine. I can drive. I can handle it. I can handle my booze. Crash, kills 2 people. It's the same simple argument. And you could say the same argument, well, nobody's ever died from smoking pot. Well, if you actually look at the statistics, there's a lot of people, that were stoned when they got in accidents. And you can say, well, that was because they were also drunk. And it was the alcohol that was the blame. No, it was because they were stoned. Whether it was alcohol or marijuana, it's still results in the same thing. So yes, you can lie to yourself. You can be in denial about the statistics and everything else. And that's okay. I'm not trying to get into that politicalness. I'm not trying to get into that argument. The point being is you are impaired. You do stink, and you do got to take precautions for it. There are going to be ramifications. And I do know that, the trend is going towards more and more pros pot. And that is the trend. We see it there's a lot of states now that are embracing it. More and more states are doing it. And I do see in the probably next 10 years, we're going to see federally across the boards that pot's being legal. I really do believe that. That said, we as business companies, as moving company owners and operators, we've got to make sure that we are taking precautions, that we're making sure that we're going to be professional. Because despite whether it's legal or not, there are going to be people out there that are not going to like it, they're not going to be approving of it. And we don't want to lose business, nor do we want to cause consternation with our customers and future customers and our competitors' future customers and this industry's customers, because we have guys that smoke pot. Okay, guys? So what I'm saying to you is put in systems. If you guys got on your payroll, which you do, people that smoke pot, you've got to make sure that you have policies and procedures and systems in place to not only protect yourself, but to protect your customer and ultimately protect your employee. Okay, guys, that is the elephant in the room. I know that nobody else is talking about it, so I'm going to, right? And again, I'm not going to say one way or the other. I'm not going to get into the argument. If I see you guys leaving comments trying to argue with me about whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm not going to get involved in those arguments. What I'm just saying is you got to make sure that you have your procedures to protect you, to protect your company, to protect your customers, and ultimately protect your employees. So, okay, guys, this is Jay Burton with the 7-Figure Moving Economy. Glad to have you here. And again, like I said earlier, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so now. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Share it with all your family and friends. And guys, I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.